me to prison for 3 years. I start learning how to behave myself. I do whatever everyone else tells me to do. The day I'm released from prison, my wife Regina Johnson sits in the car and says coldly, "If you ever lay those hands of yours on Ty again, I'll..." Before she can say anything else, I jump out of the car, pick up a brick from the side of the road, and smash my hand into a pulp with it. Regina stares at the bones sticking out and goes pale. When we get back home, Tyler Lowe, my adopted younger brother, ambushes me in the bathroom and scoffs. "So what if you're the biological son of the Lowe family? I can just as easily have you kicked out of the family." Then, he uses a blade to make a small cut on one of his fingers before crying out in alarm, "If you really hate me, Cal, I'll leave right away. Please don't kill me." Regina and my older sister Callista Lowe enter just in time to witness his display. Shaking with anger, they stomp on my wound with their high heels. "You haven't changed one bit. If anything happens to Ty, I'll make you pay for it with your life." I nod obediently and march straight to the kitchen, where I jump into the massive meat grinder before turning it on. The blood and bits of flesh spray all over Mom and Dad, who end up walking in right then. Mom lets out a shrill shriek before fainting, while Dad forces himself to remain composed as he turns off the power. At this point, even Regina, my sharp-tongued wife, can't find the words to say anything. She stands frozen, her body trembling. When we're inside the ambulance, Tyler clings to Regina, quivering as he says, "This has nothing to do with me. He jumped into the machine himself. You have to believe me. It's almost impossible for me to stay conscious through the unbearable pain, but I muster the strength to nod along with him." After failing to win over my family, I'd spent 3 years in prison. Later on, the system told me that if I showed absolute obedience until the day I died, I would receive massive financial compensation and be transported back to my original world. My flesh had been shredded almost beyond recognition. It took the doctors 3 days to wrestle me from the clutches of death. As Regina stared at my heavily bandaged body, pain flashed through her eyes. She turned to Tyler and asked, "What exactly happened in the bathroom? He used to value his life so much. Why would he jump into a meat grinder just because someone stepped on him?" Tyler's eyes darted evasively. "I have no idea. Cal went crazy out of nowhere. He called me a phony and said he wanted to kill me." My older sister Callista shielded Tyler and shot me a vicious glare. "Do you have no shame, Calvin? Ty has been nothing but good to you, yet you're resorting to a nasty trick like this to gain sympathy. If you wanted to die so badly, why didn't you just smash your head into a wall?" Recalling the system's absolute rule of obedience, I swiftly nodded. I forced myself upright, the bandages soaking through with blood. Taking a deep breath, I hurled myself at the wall with every ounce of strength I had left. A deafening bang echoed. My skull split open instantly, and blood streamed down my face. What a shame I didn't die from that. As I gathered my strength to charge at the wall again, Regina panicked and yanked me backward. "Calvin, what are you doing?" I coughed up a huge mouthful of blood just as my parents rushed over, pulling me into their arms. "Cal, what's wrong with you? You're breaking my heart," Mom cried. Callista scoffed icily. "How long are you going to keep this act up? You're just scared you'll get punished for hurting Ty the day I got out of prison. If you ever lay a hand on Ty again, I'll..." She meant she would cripple my hands. Since they insisted I had bullied him, I should show some sincerity. I painfully crawled toward the bedside table, grabbed the fruit knife, and plunged the blade straight into my wrist. Blood splattered everywhere. I viciously twisted the knife until a sickening crunch followed, sawing my own tendons apart. My body shuddered violently before crashing onto the floor. Blood splattered across Callista's high heels, making her scream and fall on her butt, while Tyler hid behind Mom, shaking.